And hello, movie lovers, and welcome to the show. Tonight, we're going to be reviewing and doing a deep dive into the 1994 cult classic, The Crow, starring Brandon Lee. I have my good friend Tamika with me. We're going to go on ahead and rock out with The Crow. I hope that you guys enjoy this. I'm excited to be able to do this review. This is hands down my all-time favorite film, aside from Jaws. So let's go on ahead. Let's review The Crow. And hey, Tamika, how are you?
Hey, what's going on?
Hey, nothing much. Just relaxing a little bit. Maybe getting my guitar up on the roof. Just
Oh,
basically gonna take my guitar, play a little guitar on the roof, and then smash it later on after I got the guitar riff right.
oh, okay. I hope
Just
the
like
crow
Eric
is
Draven.
good. Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
Love it.
just like how I was trying to learn that a couple of years back when I was playing guitar.
You smash your guitar on the roof?
No, my parents
Oh,
would kill me, but
oh.
I
Well,
wanted to.
what about the pet crow? Is he gonna be there?
I had a stuffed animal that was close enough.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. So, anyways, everyone, welcome to our review of The Crow. And so, my question for you is, when was like the first time that you actually seen The Crow?
It was high school. When was that? I'm trying to think. Was it like 99? Was it 2000? 2000
Hmm.
something? Yeah, I was in my goth punk phase. And then I saw the crow. It probably came on like what TNT or one of those
Yeah,
networks.
like TBS, TNT, somewhere around that area.
Yeah, I think it came on something like that. And then I saw it, and then I was captivated immediately. And the soundtrack was cool, and I was like, oh, and my emo feelings, and I was like, oh my god, this is like the greatest thing ever. And I was like, I must get this soundtrack, the CD. And
Right.
actually, the guy, I, he was like my friend. The guy that it's a guy in my high school that looked exactly like Top Dollar.
Oh,
You know,
nice.
the long hair and everything. He had all the
Just
women's.
like anybody in the 90s or early 2000s would have, right? Working at like an FYE or Sam
Like
Goody's.
you could like cut his face like they were identical twins. And he had like the long hair and stuff. And I probably like message him and tell him I talked about him on
So, did he
the
say this?
podcast.
Dad gave me this for my fifth birthday. He said, "Childhood's over the moment you know you're gonna die." Did he say that to you?
No, I told
Okay.
him, "You look like the guy from The Crow." He's like, "Yeah, yeah, no." He didn't do that, but
Okay. So my first time seeing The Crow, I was actually 10 years old.
Hmm. Wait,
Um,
are we the same age, John?
yeah, we are. But here's the thing. I think I peaked at age 10. I went to see this movie at the movie theater with my mom. I remember seeing this. I remember seeing the previews on TV. I'm like,
Okay.
Mom, I want to go see The Crow. And I just fell in love with the story overall. Like I got this is the thing that got me into like Nine Inch Nails. It got me into STP. It got me into basically every single era of music that you can think of during that time. Because but the soundtrack is just amazing. I love the soundtrack to this movie. Brandon Lee playing Eric Draven, and then the storyline like you said, it has this melancholy kind of feel to it.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And it just sucks you right in. It has a gothic kind of feel to it. And it feels like this movie is for me. This movie
Yes.
understands me, even though I was age 10. But this movie understands me. This movie
Understand.
gets me. And ever since then, I've been basically collecting different types of Blu-rays, DVDs, posters, things like that. But
Oh,
I want the
cool.
movie poster. But yeah,
Yes. Excellent.
that's where it started off for me at age 10 in the movie theater, watching it with my mom, and then my mom going looking at me. So you enjoy that? I said, yeah, I did. Did you? Uh huh. Yeah, I enjoy it. And she didn't enjoy it, but
No,
anyways, I did.
no. It also has the feel of Batman, like
Yep.
1989 Batman. Like that's what the set reminded me of. So I'm surprised Tim Burton didn't jump in on this movie because it's
It,
similar styles to him.
there are similar gothic styles to it, but
Yeah.
it's also very different though in scale and the way that you look at it though too,
Mm-hmm.
compared to how Burton does his movies back in those days too.
Yeah.
But I liked how this director does it, and he does an amazing job with it. And matter of fact, Brandon Lee wanted to do this on black and white to get the
Really?
lighting. Yeah,
Wow.
he wanted to get the lighting and everything right according to how the comic book was because it was in black and white.
Yeah.
So that's a little bit of a fun fact on it. But let's dive into it. Let's dive into this. So, in the shadows of a city surrounded in darkness, a lone figure emerges from the mist. His face is painted with markings of a crow and a symbol of vengeance and justice. He is Eric Draven, returned from the dead to seek revenge on those who talk about this on a podcast and those who took everything from him. Welcome to the Movie Lovers Unite podcast. We're going to be diving into The Crow scene by scene, and we're also going to do some fun trivia facts that Tamika has
Yeah.
notes that I
Sure.
actually typed out.
Yeah. Yeah, I got them.
Okay, so we're going to dive into that a little later, but let's go on ahead. Let's dive into it scene by scene. And so it starts off with basically everything's on fire. All these buildings are on fire.
Mm-hmm.
I like how they have that display, right? Of the crow going through this toy kind of like because of the fact that how they had to make it was like basically they actually made like a toy miniature style of actually the way they were shooting it in a sense of following the crow and stuff like that. And then you get that whole entire scene where it's the cops inside the house and you see the windows broken.
Mm-hmm.
That was pretty cool. But also too, this is also the quote that it says, people once believe that someone dies, a crow carries their soul to the land of the dead. But sometimes something so bad happens that a terrible sadness is carried with it, and the soul can rest. Then sometimes, just sometimes, the crow can bring that soul back to put the wrong things right. On October 30th, Devil's Night in Detroit, Sergeant Albert is at the scene of the crime where Shelby Webster has been beaten and raped, and her fiance, local musician and guitarist Eric Draven, died. Having been stabbed and shot and thrown out of the window, the couple were to be married the next day on Halloween. As he leaves for the hospital with Shelley, Albrecht meets a young girl, Sarah, who says that she is their friend and that they take care of her because her mother, Darla, is negligent and a drug addict. Albrecht tells her that Shelley will be okay, but she knows the truth. Shelley is going to die. And I like how she looks at Albrecht and goes, "She's going to be okay. She's going to die, isn't she?" And I like how he just looks at her and goes, "Yeah, she's going to." But also, too, what did you think of the whole entire scene of seeing the window
Yeah.
being broken, and you see this crime scene? Because that's a weird way to start a movie off.
Yeah. Yeah. It is. I I haven't seen it in years and years until like recently when we're doing this show. And I was like, dang, this is darker than I remember. No, I don't know. I was like, dang, oh my God, beat and rape, dang. Ugh. But
Yeah.
it it's a good opening to the story though. Like you have to kind of start out with it, the tragedy of it all, like the aftermath. And it feels like the whole movie is like a detective story in a sense. He's trying to figure out who did what. The Crow, Eric
Right,
Draven.
Eric Draven, yeah.
He's like a detective, kind of like reminds me of Batman, but he kills people.
Ben Affleck killed people, okay, on the Zack Snyder.
Whatever. Anyway, it's like he kills people, but he has a crow with him. So Batman doesn't have a pet with him.
No.
Cancel out
But
your argument. But anyway, yeah, that's what it feels like to me. Like, we start out with the tragedy of what happened and the aftermath, and then you're going backwards from there. Like, okay, who done it? Who did what? What's going on? So yeah, we're along for the ride
mhm.
with Eric, and he doesn't know what's going on. And
Just like how we don't know what's going on.
we
And
the
we're trying to
only
solve this case with them.
we're solving the case. We killing people. We
I'm just
stabbed
witnessing stuff. I'm not
somebody.
killing anybody. I'm just
Yeah. Oh,
witnessing.
yeah. That's right. We witnessed something, but we didn't tell the cops. We ain't talk to no cops.
We ain't no snitch. But
We
yeah.
ain't snitching. No, I ain't getting no crows after me. Speaking of which, at my job there are a lot of crows, so I wonder what that means.
I don't know, but I just
Okay.
want to say this. I thought that Ernie
Okay.
Hudson playing Albrecht,
Sorry,
he does a fantastic job of selling you as that cop.
Yeah.
He's this good cop, and also, too, the captain's over there busting his balls, and too, being a total jerk-off, ball bag, and everything. And he winds up just basically goes telling him, hey, aren't you supposed to be a beat cop or something like that, to that effect? And then he's like, well, I got you to thank for that, don't I?
Mm-hmm.
And then I like how Sarah's just basically knowing what's going on. She already knows that Shelly's going to die. And she's already embraced the fact that she's going to die, and that's just sad to see that happen. And then just the way that he just plays that, of that caring cop, it just melts my heart every single time I see that scene.
Mm-hmm. Now, was this after Ghostbusters?
What was after the Ghostbusters?
Like,
Yeah, this is way after Ghostbusters, because Ghostbusters 2 was like, I forgot what year Ghostbusters 2 came out.
I only asked that because I'm jumping around, sorry. But there's a scene where he was like, are you a ghost?
Yeah, 89 was when Ghostbusters 2 came out. So this is a couple of years later.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's when he asked Eric Draven, are you a ghost?
Ghost. Boo. Yeah.
Boo. And then he opened some beer for him.
Yeah.
Like he
he also tells him smoking is bad for him too.
Yeah, don't you want a ghost to open a beer for you? You had a hard day at work. Here you go. And then you ask the ghost.
Some makeup on, yeah.
Yeah, did you pay the rent, ghost? Okay.
This is my house. But anyways, 1 year later, to the day, a crow taps on the gravestone of Eric Draven. Eric awakens from the death and climbs directly out of the grave, trembling and racking in convenience. Meanwhile, a criminal gang, headed by T-Bird, are setting fires in the city. Eric goes to his old apartment and finds it in distress. Now, the introduction to T-Bird in them was really good, because you don't know who these characters are. And then it goes, Arcade is going to go boom. And he goes, fire it up.
Yeah.
Fire it up.
Fire it up.
I feel like I was at a Rob Zombie concert for that one.
Yes, and it's the classic tropes of all the henchmen, and then you got the wannabe in there. You could tell who he is, because then they like, go get something, go get some smoke. I forgot that guy's name. Like the only one that was kind of alive before the crow. Yeah, that's the wannabe. But everybody else was kind of like a tough guy. Then you had the meth head, and you had the black guy with the knives.
But you know what, though? I think that with T-Bird, but I like how it sets the tone on what we're getting as to why, we're getting a little bit of a glimpse of who's setting these fires and why they're doing it, because of Devil's Night, and we'll get into a little bit about what Devil's Night is, because it's actually something that's true. It's actually something that happens that happened in Detroit and everything. So we're gonna get you know what, since I'm already on the topic of that, we're just gonna go ahead and talk about it. So the roots of Devil's Night was actually murky. But may have started with a yearly tradition called Mischief Night. The mischief started in the 18th century Britain, and by the mid 20th century, pranksters in Detroit had started relatively mild forms of disturbances and destructions around the city on October 30th. The tradition had taken such a significant hold by the 1970s that the Free Press published a guide for readers called How to Beat the Devil in a Goblin-Proof Their Homes. Instructions included tips on how to respond to a variety of Devil Night pranks, and I lost my notes. Hold on. But the tradition had taken such a significant hold by this 1970s. Okay, so it reads one popular Detroit goblin trick to be aware of. If someone throws a lighted paper on your porch, do not rush to stomp it out. There may be animal droppings inside.
Oh.
And then, but okay, so then we're going to go into this. These pranks became increasingly more destructive over the years. The Free Press reported vandals smashing 99 windows in 72 city buses, vandalizing 84 homes, and 8 instances of arson in 1978. The destruction only worsened into the 1980s. So that's a little small detail of what Devil's Night is.
Wow. Gee whiz. Okay.
So, but yeah, so you get T-Bird. He's over there. He's bombing the arcade games.
Mhm.
And then you have Eric coming out of the grave in the stormy night. I like how the lightning is, it just feels like a horror movie after a year of him dying. Everybody's supposed to forget about him. No one's supposed to remember him. Sarah's over visiting his grave before that happens.
Mhm.
The crow comes over there, taps, and just looks at her. Because what are you supposed to be, like the night watchman? And then
he said, "Bitch, I might be."
just watch. Watch what I'm going to do next.
Sassy
pop out of this grave. That's what I'm going to do.
Tell him, Crow.
But I like that horror aspect to it of this guy, of this person coming out of the grave.
Mm-hmm.
Then he winds up finding boots in a garbage dumpster, and he's very distraught. He's trying to basically get back to how he was, trying to walk again and stuff. And then he goes over to his home, and then you see his whole entire apartment still in disarray. You see the police tape still on the door. And I like how they give the camera angle of that first person PIV thing.
I was gonna say that. Yeah,
I really love that.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
Oh, okay. I was gonna say I like that too. Just opening the door and we're seeing what he is, and I think it's really cool too how it's almost like a superhero. Well, it's a comic book, but it's almost like a superhero power where any object he touches, he gets the memory of what happened that night.
It's like the crow is trying to make him remember why he's here. He's here for a purpose. Yeah. You have unfinished business to be doing.
Yeah, to kill people.
Yeah, that killed, murdered, raped, and threw you out the window.
Yeah. And they probably did something to that crow too. And he's like, I want you to kill them.
But that's a story for another day. Yeah, but yeah, he has visuals and memories of the murders, remembering that those responsible were T-Bird and his gang, Tintin, Fun Boy, and Skang. Eric soon discovers that any wounds he receives heals immediately, and that he, being dead, is now immune. Physical harm. He then replaces his burial clothes with dark and imposing attire, and using a stage makeup paints his face in a parody of porcelain harlequin mask given to Shelley as a gift, decorating his lips and eyes with black scar-like slashes. Guided by the crow, he sets out to avenge his and Shelley's murders by killing the perpetrators. So I like how it sets up where you see flashbacks of him and Shelley cooking, of her burning the food and then laughing about it. And then you see the glimpse of, basically of everything else that happened, where basically there was like an eviction notice or some type of notice because T-Bird winds up pointing that out to them. And then it goes into the whole rape scene, and then Eric coming in, and then they wind up throwing Eric out the window, and you see Eric fall out the window, and you're seeing everything being played out now, how we got in that opening scene, how we're trying to figure things out. So now we got some missing pieces that are now being filled. Then you also have, I like how he goes over to the window that he was thrown out of, and then he winds up doing like a chin up, and he winds up like flipping, like his father, like Bruce Lee would. Yeah. And then he winds up discovering that his hands he can heal.
Yeah.
He's immortal. And then he puts on the makeup and everything, and you have that great song by The Cure called The
Yes.
Burn. You're ready to go. This is
Yeah.
how you know this is the movie that's for you.
Yeah.
And
I was gonna ask you, what is the name of that when the music plays in the background, like as the narrative?
yeah,
Because
it's
every
called The Cure.
song, no, I mean like in movies, because every
Oh,
song plays along with the narrative of the film. Like,
like the scoring or the
y-
soundtrack.
yeah, something like that. Because like as soon as he put the makeup on, the lyrics said, "Just paint your face and."
Yep, it's
Uh,
foreshadowing.
Yeah,
It's
something like that. Yeah. You like the Cure to me, duh.
yeah, no,
Ooh.
no, sorry. It got in the
I
zone
just
for a minute.
thought that was neat, and it seems really prevalent in 90s films that they have like the soundtrack playing along with the narrative of the film. And I don't know if today's movies do that too
Not
much.
as much.
Yeah.
Like, there's not much that does that nowadays. And that's something that I do appreciate the fact that they took their time to do something like that. And
Yeah.
then I like how the lightning strikes on his face, and then you have the crow on his shoulder.
Yeah. And then
And
it's like, "Dur-dur-dur-dur-dur."
the fun fact, too, is this that's actually his stunt double. That's actually Brandon Lee's stunt double.
Oh.
And they had to actually CGI the face and everything the best they could to their ability to make it work.
Oh, I was
Because
reading a little bit about that because I got curious. I wasn't sure exactly what scenes he finished before he died.
I do have a little bit of that because I
Okay,
didn't give you
that's
that part of
later
the
on.
trivia part, but I will cover
Okay,
that towards the end of it
okay,
on the scenes and even in the scene that he supposedly the scene that he died and they had to cut.
okay, got it.
So I'll go into that like towards the end of our review. But and then of course now you're set to go. He's on the rooftops. He's running, and I really love how the camera angles just play it off. This
Mhm.
whole entire rooftop scene, it is awesome as
It
hell. And then you
is.
also have, then while that's happening, you also get Tintin.
Mhm.
You also get Tintin now, and he's inside Getty's pawn shop, and he's trying to sell a purse to Gideon. And he's like, "So who did you rob this time?" And he goes, "Look, I'll give you $5 for this." 5. I thought you would at least give me 50 or something. And so basically, he winds up flipping him off. He goes, "You rich to find motherfucker." Da, 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 da. And
Yeah,
so,
cause it down, you mean. I close up for you real good, massa. Fuck you. I was like, I used to know all. I used to recite that movie. Sorry. Okay, we're back.
I love that.
We'll edit that out.
No, we won't. That was gold. That was gold right there. I'm going to use that as a short. But you know what though? Then he closes up Gideon's, and then the crow. You're thinking that he's gonna go into Gideon's right there to kill Tintin
Yeah.
or whatever, but no. What he does is the crow winds up following him, and then you wind up seeing him in the alleyway, and then Eric Draven winds up jumping off the building and landing into the garbage dumpster.
Yes, that's my favorite part. But the way he did it, it was like this graceful flip, and then his arms were up in the air, Christ-like, and then he fell gracefully in the dumpster, laughing.
That's
I
how I
mean,
would want a dumpster dive. That's how I would
who
do it.
does that? Who falls gracefully from I don't know how many stories there was in trash and laughs as the rain is pitter pattering on your face. Poetry. Oh yeah, it was like Jeff Hardy. Any of the wrestling
Yeah.
fans know
Okay.
Jeff
Yeah.
Hardy
Like the Hardy
poetry in
Boys.
motion, where he
Yeah.
does that, and then that's exactly what Brandon Lee did.
Yeah, I definitely have to agree with you. It's like poetry in
Yeah.
motion on the way that he does that.
Yeah,
So
totally.
yeah. But yeah, Tintin is basically obsessed with knives. They engage in a one-on-one alley fight, which Eric wins by catching a knife and pinning Tintin to a wall with it. Eric has Tintin confess that he and the gang were responsible for the break-in and assaulting Shelley, then kills Tintin by stabbing him with all of his own knives. He takes his coat, leaving a large crow-shaped bloodstain on the wall of the alley. Eric
Mm-hmm.
then goes to the pawn shop where Tintin pawned Shelley's engagement ring the year before. Now, the thing that I like about this scene with Tintin is the whole entire deal of, and I never miss.
Yeah.
And then he throws the knife, he slaps it down, goes, try harder.
Try harder.
Bats it away.
Catches it right here.
Mm-hmm. That part always gets
And
me.
then he throws it.
Throws
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
And then goes, victims, aren't we all?
Yeah.
But also too, he goes, yeah, I shagged her. You know, he goes, so what?
Loved
Some
it.
bitch, some
Yeah.
asshole, and she loved it. And then that just pissed him off even more.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah,
then,
I always wonder, how did he find out about the engagement ring? But he
but
like
you
you
remember
said,
though, in that flashback too, it does show him asking her to be show the engagement ring.
okay.
So,
Okay.
and of course, he knows that Tintin is there, so the ring might have to be there too,
Mm-hmm.
because that place is used for criminals like Tintin to pawn. You know,
Mm-hmm.
so
I
that's what I got out of that. And then I like how he goes, "Victims, aren't we all?" And then he goes into the pawn shop, and he's banging on Gideon's on thing.
We're
closed.
It's off.
Oh, we're closed, you fucking idiot. And then he opens up the thing, goes, "Didn't you just hear me? I was rapping at your chamber door. Tapping on your chamber door." But I love that scene though too. Eric was just great.
Yeah. Yeah. Poetry in motion, like I said.
But yeah, and then he goes, "I'm looking for a gold engagement ring." And he goes, "Suddenly they came and tapping, as if someone gently rapping at my chamber door. You heard me rapping, right?"
That wasn't
And then-
rapping, that was banging.
Well, that's just how he does it. That's just how Eric does it.
Oh, okay. All right.
So then we wind up seeing this scene being played out, and so he takes his so this is what winds up happening. So
Mhm.
after that happens, he winds up, Eric then goes to the pawn shop where Tintin pawned Shelley's engagement ring the year before. Eric focuses the owner, Gideon, to return the ring and blows up the shop, but allows Gideon to live so that he can warn the others. Gideon goes to warn Top Dollar. So I like also too with this. He goes, I don't know about no fucking engagement ring. He winds up taking a knife, stabbing Gideon's hand to his counter. He goes, "I'm looking for an engagement ring," and making him shake his head as he's telling him that.
Yeah.
It was porn a year ago. And I like how he's looking through the engagement rings. And he's like, no. And then finally, you get to, and he has that flashback. And he's like, okay, I got that. Puts it around his neck. He's good to go. He takes the guitar off of Gideon's items. And then he's like, "You're street, you're basically, you're nothing but
street trash or something like
yeah,
that.
basically street trash is what he tells them.
Yeah, they're gonna kill you, basically.
They're gonna kill your sorry ass. They're gonna kill you. And
is that gasoline I smell?
And then he goes, I'm not going to kill you. You're going to warn the others. And then I like how Gideon's trying to get out of his pawn shop, and then just as the fire is about to explode, and it actually makes him bang up against the wall.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And then after that, you get the scene of Top Dollar laying next to this girl naked, and then she's died of she OD'd, and then you see the girl that's also supposedly supposed to be his sister.
Ew.
So now we have Game of Thrones in the Crow.
He said
before Game of Thrones was cool.
My father's daughter. So he's like, it's cool. I can bang her. Okay.
Yeah, and then I like it. I like her eyes.
Pretty.
Next thing you know, she takes out her eyes. Yeah. But then you see Top Dollar and Gideon talking, and he winds up telling him, so you mean to tell me this man with makeup on just let you live? And he goes, yeah. And he's like, okay. And what did you think of that?
Oh, that scene.
Yeah.
Well, I was fast. Okay, so I had the biggest crush on Top Dollar, but I knew he was bad. But then I don't know, it was like his hair. It was like, what do you think about that? You know. But yeah, and sorry, but yeah, that scene. it was interesting the way he killed the pawn shop guy. It was kind of like old school Robin Hood. Did he do this movie before or after Robin Hood? Because I know he was in Robin Hood.
That's right, he did. He played the sheriff of Nottingham's right-hand man, right?
Yeah, the villain. He
that's like 4 years later.
Oh, okay. Well,
basically.
Yeah, he stabbed a guy in the neck
throat.
In a sword. And then he's like, I'm a backstage, die. He's like, get a gun and shoot him. Well, he at least told the guy, thank you. Who his henchman is on Candyman.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I was like, is that Candyman? What he doing working for him?
But that just goes to show you the layers that he has.
Yeah, Candyman got layers.
Like, I really like him as Tony Todd.
Yeah,
I really like him as an actor.
Yeah, okay.
He's really has done a lot of stuff for the horror genre and stuff like that too.
His government name, okay. Him and Michael Wincock in that movie was awesome, and that's why I told you I don't see why they can't brush Michael Wincock off and put some extensions in his hair like they did before in '94.
But this is basically the dialogue between them, okay? Between Gideon and him.
I'm sorry. Okay, you're right.
Sorry.
Thank you.
But you lost everything. Yeah, and maybe you're not such a big shot either. Oh, Jesus. Fair enough. Catch. Gideon, Jesus.
Is this real?
He goes, say hello to the last fella who couldn't cooperate with me.
Or you gotta do the hair.
You're telling me this is real? All the power in the world rests in the eyes, fella. If you think about it, Top Dollar is kind of like Shawn Michaels of The Crow. Like, this guy, that's what I feel like.
Whoa, Shawn Michaels. Yeah, with some 888 Sinister. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah, he is. He's very flamboyant and showy. And he gets all the girls, especially his half sister, father's daughter. It's okay to bang her. You mean to tell me this is your sister? Father's daughter. Don't you see the resemblance?
Yeah, I do.
It's like, ugh, gross. Okay.
And then after that, Top Dollar, the local crime boss, and T-Bird Superior, who thinks Gideon is making it all up, and kills Gideon by stabbing him in the throat with their rapier, sinking it into his into the health. Now, you know what my wife said to me? She goes,
Mhm.
"What is this guy supposed to be?" I said, "He's supposed to be a gangster." She goes, "I never seen a gangster look like that."
I know, he looks fabulous.
I told her, I said, "This," I said, and I started thinking about it. I'm like, well, what about Japanese, Chinese films, though? In a sense of what that's what I was thinking at first.
Like those samurai movies?
Yeah, something
Yeah.
like that. And I think it was very fitting on what they were doing for this film. I thought it suited the character. It was very different.
Now I'm thinking about it, he does remind me of an anime character. You know, those anime villains, they have like this long hair and they're very lanky
Yeah.
and they talk flamboyant, like, and then they get all the muscular dudes to do all their bidding for them because they don't want to get dirty, mess up their hair.
Right. It's like a
That's
pretty
who it
boy,
reminds me.
basically.
Yeah, he's like a pretty boy gangster, but he will stab you in the throat now with a
With the
17th
sword.
century sword,
Yeah,
and he will shoot you.
he will.
But
As you're
his
choking
hair
on your
gonna
own
look
blood.
good. His hair gonna stay good though, because he is
But
top dollar.
yeah, he's top dollar.
Make you holler,
Make you holla.
honey boo boo
Maybe
child.
we can find you at Dollar Tree.
Not Dollar Tree. See, I ain't gonna get killed for you.
this
Top dollar gonna come after you.
is why I'm gonna die. This is why whenever you see me with
Yeah,
top
top
dollar, I'm probably
dollar
gonna be the
gonna.
first one to die.
Yeah, top dollar.
But so Eric finds Funboy getting high in an apartment with Darla. He teases Funboy, having the man shoot him in the hand and pretending to scream in pain for his own amusement. Now, I like how this scene plays out too, because once again, it feels like a horror movie. It's raining, it's storming.
Mhm.
You see a crow near the window, and then all of a sudden, in walks Eric under the window. And he goes, "Jesus," and he goes,
He goes
"Right,
what?
you know what I'm talking about." He
He goes,
goes,
Jesus is alive for me. Hey.
he goes, "Have you heard this one before?" And he tells him a joke, and then after that happens,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
but I like how, but you know what though? And then he shoots him in the hand,
Yeah.
and he's already tripping as is. He goes,
Hmm.
"Woo!" And then his whole entire hand is just closing back up again.
Yes. 90s special effects. I had to
I
kind of
thought
get that out, and I was like, okay, cool.
killed, and he becomes so then also too when it becomes apparent to Funboy that Eric cannot be killed, he becomes frightened, and Eric disarms him and shoots him in the thigh, piercing his female artery. Eric confronts Darla, making her realize that Sarah needs her to be a good mother. Darla rushes out and goes home. Eric then kills Funboy with an overdose of his own morphine.
Mm. That scene was powerful because
Yeah,
he was like behind her in the mirror, and he said, "Mother is the name of God on the lips of children," or something like that. And
yeah.
then he said, "Morphine's bad for you," and then he made her morphine ooze out of her veins, and I was like, "What the?" I don't know why I don't remember how dark this was. Maybe I was just in my dark phase, my gothic phase. I was like, that is so poetic and
Cool. They're
cool.
so cool,
Yeah, cool
man.
and dark. And I was looking, I was like, this is some messed up stuff right here, man.
And
Morphine coming
it,
out your vein. Dang, this movie got dark.
but I like how he draws the line of I'm not here for Darla. I'm here for a reason. I'm here to kill Funboy. I'm not after anybody else but him. And he knows that's Sarah's mother. And she knows that she needs a mother figure. Because number one, and we didn't address this at all, but you see her talking to Albridge and everything before Eric winds up coming out of the grave. And at that same time, Eric is coming out, but he's at that hot dog thing, and she's chatting up with Albridge, and then it goes into another scene where basically you see Darla.
Mm-hmm.
She's at the bar with Darla, and she sees her going upstairs with Funboy, And she goes, "Sorry, hon, your mom's on it. She's always on it." Is basically what Sarah says to the bartender.
Mm-hmm.
And then also too, we also have another scene too where basically, all of them are drinking. Darla serves them the shots and everything too. Here's your shooters.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Cool
then,
it,
yeah, that
guys.
was back when Tintin and all them were alive, I believe.
Yeah, alive and happy.
Yeah, but yeah,
And they
but
swallow bullets, which I don't know if that's a real drinking game or not, but
I don't
I
want to be a
don't
part of it.
know where the bullet would go in their
I
digestive
don't know how
tract.
that would be dissected either.
Yeah.
When you use the bathroom.
Yeah. Pow! Oh my god.
But
Sorry.
what do you think of the fact that how he draws the line of the fact that she needs needs her mother? Sarah needs her mother.
It seems like he has a rule, like an unwritten rule about him that he doesn't harm women or children.
Well, like I said, Darla
He
didn't do
just,
anything to him. It was these guys that did something to him. So therefore, he has a purpose to just kill the people that he's after.
but even the villain woman, the woman that was the villain, he didn't really do anything to her. I guess he couldn't reach over to her, but I don't know if that's just something written.
I have a speculation on that part.
Okay, okay,
Okay.
all right.
And it didn't take me until like this to go around to actually think about it.
Mhm.
But we'll get into that when we talk about towards the end of it.
Okay, got it.
But yeah, I like that whole entire scene of him basically getting her off of drugs, and then
Mhm.
she goes on ahead and decides that she doesn't want to do this anymore, and she gets clean and sober within a day. Because the next morning, she's over there making eggs for Sarah, and and Sarah, and she goes, "So how do you like your eggs?" She goes, "Why? Why do you care, Darla?"
Mhm.
And she goes, "Fuck this shit. I'm not good at this Mother of the Year shit." And she winds up trying to throw the eggs away. She goes, "I like mine over easy." Okay, so now you see a little bit more of a light into that darkness that was once there.
Yeah.
Now she's more caring for her daughter and trying to be there for her daughter. Over
Ye-
easy. Thank you, Sleevy G, for saying over easy.
Well, yeah. I mean, she hasn't had a mother her whole life up until this point. I don't know what
Right.
she's like 9 or 10 now.
Yeah.
So
That's
I
all this
would
time I'm
be
saying with Eric and Shelly.
yeah. So I would be thinking, what's wrong with you today? You
I also
ain't
like
here.
too how she tells Funboy, he goes, "I already had dinner. I had it with the police. I already had dinner. I had it with the police."
Yeah. And then her mom is like in a 90 or
Yeah.
whatever in her bar clothes making out with Fun Boy
Mhm.
before they go upstairs. It's like, ugh. But I think that Eric Draven should have like a rehab clinic because he got her clean and sober in a day.
Right.
So he should do that some kooky nightmarish thing to all the drug victims, and they'll be
Yep.
clean and sober in a year.
Right. There won't be any more rehabs. If he's done in like a day, boom.
Boom! Your bill's in the mail.
And then all of a sudden, what does he do? He just pops up in a mirror and goes, "Mother's lips of the
Are you using
Sometimes he quotes it.
again?
Then he winds up draining.
Yeah, are you using again? Do we have to go through this again? No. Oh my God. I put it down. Please don't come back over here with that crow.
But yeah, and then also too, I forgot to mention this though too, with Gideon with the first altercation with Albridge, because remember he winds up blowing up the pawn shop. Gideon winds up, Albridge winds up seeing him leave, and he goes, "Freeze, hold it right there." He goes, "And I say I'm dead, and I move, and he goes, "What the fuck are you supposed to be?"
What the fuck are you supposed to
And then some kids make some noise, and he looks over to them, and then he's gone. He goes, "Some stupid creature in the middle of the night." And they're scaring the hell out of him. But yeah,
It's just the way you said it. What you supposed to be.
But yeah, and then he visits Albert, explaining who Eric then also goes over to Albert's apartment and explains who he is and why he is here. Albert tells him that he knows about Shelley's death and that we wanted and he watched her as she suffered for 30 hours before dying. Eric touches Albert and receives from him the pain felt
Mm,
by Shelley during those hours after leaving. And that scene alone
mhm,
still gives me goosebumps, still makes me sad. And yes, in the remake, they're going to extend the relationship out. To be honest with you, I like the settledness of it. And even Brandon Lee liked the settledness of it and how he wanted it done like that. And I love that aspect to it. And then I like how he goes, little things used to matter to Shelley. I used to
mhm,
think they were trivial. Believe
mhm.
me, nothing is trivial. And that
Yeah.
was improv by Brandon Lee.
Oh wow. Yeah.
That was not even in the script.
Yeah. Yeah. Because his fiance die before he made this?
Yeah, I believe so. I'm not 100%
Okay.
sure on that part.
Yeah. Okay. It's starting to make sense now. Because what's his name, Albridge or whatever the
Yeah,
cop's name is,
yeah.
he was just telling him, if
Look,
this picture of my ex-wife, we got divorced, blah blah blah. And then he just went into this nostalgic, like little things matter to her, and I didn't know why until now.
right.
Like, yeah,
It
it
was
was
deep.
sweet. Yeah, it was deep and sweet, and it's 30 hours of pain, like just feeling that through somebody's eyes is on a deeper level itself, you know?
It really is, man. Like, you know, I just thought of the fact that he goes, look, man, I was there. I thought you would come out of it.
Mhm,
I stayed there. He goes, you were there the whole time. He goes, yeah, I was there the whole time.
mhm.
And I always get teared up during that scene
Yeah.
too. And it's like someone actually gives a shit. It's
Mhm,
basically what I'm getting from that.
mhm.
To care enough to actually stay there, not just for an investigation to find out what's going on, because you genuinely care, even though you never even met this person. You
Mhm.
care about it. You care about your job. You care about what you're doing. And his ball bag,
It's what?
chief over there,
Oh,
ball bag chief, his ball bag chief, who winds up asking him, he goes, "What the?" Whenever they found Tintin with all the knives and everything, he goes,
yeah.
"What the hell is that?" He goes, "I call it blood, Lieutenant, but I guess you would write it up as graffiti."
Oh gosh, yeah, it reminds me of the cop in, Die Hard, like the wise.
Carl Winslow.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and then you're gonna find yourself on the beat again. I'm like, "Oh my god."
But
Carl
yeah,
Winslow. Yeah, he should have
I
been
have
in
a
The
theory
Crow.
on that, but I'm not going to get into that.
Yeah, he should have been in The Crow. Yeah, you're right, you're right. He should have been in Crow. Bruce Willis should have been The Crow. Yeah.
No, I wasn't going to go that deep on it.
Oh, okay.
Uh, you're a beat cop and stay a beat cop. Yep, that's right, Mike. That's right. That's what the lieutenant tells him. You're a beat cop, so stay a beat cop. And goes, and then after that's when he goes back to that line of saying, "I guess I have you to thank for it, don't I?"
Mm,
I like how he throws that shade out to him.
shade.
And then I like how also too, when he's talking to Albridge, he's telling him cigarettes are bad for you, and he winds up telling him to stop smoking. And then then after that, he winds up turning his back again to drink a beer, and then he leaves
Oh, you talking about when Eric was
when he's
in
at his yeah
his
at his
apartment
place.
and
Yeah,
it's like these things will kill you.
yeah, these things will kill you.
And it's like, okay.
I
Are you gonna get
love
out?
that
Are you
though.
gonna
I love it
jump
about
out the window again? I thought I'd use your front door.
so I can feel like I'm a human being for once. But yeah,
Yeah, I'm starting to feel human now.
right.
I use your front door.
But and then after that, as T-Bird and Skank stop at a convenience store to get some supplies, Eric arrives and kidnaps T-Bird.
I'm sorry.
Because where's Fun Boy? He's probably banging away on old Darla. that poor, that poor, that poor
What is that
Toll
thing
just
called?
got assaulted, and they didn't even ask for it.
Yeah, I got impregnated too.
Yeah,
There's a bunch of change gonna pop out.
but and then after that happened, and then I like how he goes and he winds up taking T-Bird, and they're basically what winds up happening. He winds up carjacking him, and then they wind up. Then after that, I like how Skink goes, "What the hell is going on?" So next thing you know, he winds up carjacking somebody.
What
The
did
friend that I
happen
want.
for shit?
You know what though? This is the friend that I want. This is the friend that I want. Like if I'm getting carjacked, I'm getting kidnapped by somebody that I know that is, and you know that I'm just taking off for no apparent reason. This is the friend that I want right here. He was dedicated to
Just that whole scene. And then he gets hit
getting
by
a
the
little small
car.
ass car too, like a little Focus or something at that time.
He gets hit by the car. He's like, "Hey, what's your problem, stupid ass hair?" I said, "What?" And then I told you that's my insult from now on. What, that is the oddest thing to say. Ooh.
And then after that happens, T-Bird Skank follows the pair and sees Eric as he ties T-Bird to the driver's seat of a car, straps explosives to him, and lets the car drive off the pier, where it explodes in midair and falls in and sinks into the harbor down below. Eric leaves a fiery symbol in the shape of a crow burning at the scene. Now, I like how he goes, "You're dead. There's no coming back. There's no coming back.
Back, man. There's no
There's no
coming
coming back,
back, man."
man."
He puts that duct tape on his eyes. There's no coming back, man.
There's no coming back, man. There's no coming back. Do that thing.
There's no coming back, man. There's no coming back. You die, you die.
You died, man. You died. We watched you.
We saw you. I was like, man, why you had to put the duct tape that high on the man's head? He can't see. Well, he dead now, but still.
Oh man. Then after that, Sarah goes to Eric's old apartment, and we already talked about the mother and the repair to the strain of the relationship, which led to believe the improves thanks to Eric's words. Sarah goes to Eric's old apartment and talks to him. She tells him that she misses him and Shelly. Eric explains that even though they cannot be friends anymore, he still cares about her. Skank goes to the top dollar, who controls all the criminal gangs in the city. So let's talk about the fact that I like how it has that song. It can't rain all the time playing.
Yeah, can't rain all the time.
Can't rain all the time.
Rain all the time.
And he goes, Eric, I know you're here. And there's the cat.
What was that?
It's like, Eric, I know you're here. And he goes, what? Then she goes, that's stupid anyways. And
Screw you. I thought you cared, man. Sarah, I do care. Eric.
I felt a little bit of Edward Scissorhand moments in that whenever Peggy. I felt like a little bit of Edward Scissorhands. I'm not finished. But yeah.
But although he is a ghost, he feeds his cat.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, he does. I don't know how the cat survived all this time. Year later.
Either, but hey.
But he getting food now.
But I like how Skank goes over to the top dollar.
Why they named that man that?
Oh, no.
Okay.
But what do you think of Skank talking to top dollar?
This should be a drinking game. Oh, when he was describing everything. Oh, man, do this, and then this. And then Top Dollar was like, maybe we should videotape it.
Oh, yeah. That's a good thing. That's him. That's him. But he looked different. He was
That
all
did. He was
painted up.
playing like a wild whore. And then
Some
you
sort of
got, oh
dead.
man, fire it up, fire it up, fire it. Oh man, so I was like, wait. They thought that go get my head in there. They go get my head in there. It ain't no ghost. Oh. I told you the whole movie. I used to just do all that.
But I chased him down. He fried T-birds. So he fried T-birds to his fucking car. Oh, T-bird, here's to you, buddy.
Fire it up, fire it up, fire it up, fire it up.
And then this, like you said, top dollar. Because it would be on to just videotape this, play this back in slow
Yeah.
motion.
Yeah.
And then, did you see the grave? Grange looking at him, empty.
Okay.
Skank. Go ahead, go ahead. Do it.
Oh,
Do
they
it.
go get my head in there. They go keep my head there. He go keep my head there. Oh my gosh.
It's not fair. It's Fun Boy's fault. That boy was out of control.
Yeah.
T-bird, he came in and said,
I gotta get
Waste
that
them
guy's
both.
autograph. I gotta get that guy's autograph. Are you Skank from The Crow? You
I think that
fired
was
it
like
up.
one thing that he didn't want to have as a credit. I was known as Skank.
I played an actor named Skank in The Crow.
In The Crow. That's not who you are.
I was acting.
I'm a Shakespearean actor.
Oh. Okay.
But yeah, he controls the criminal gangs in the city. Top Dollar and his lover, half sister, Misa, have become aware of Eric's actions through various reports and witnesses. Top Dollar holds a meeting with his associates where they discuss new plans for Devil's Night's criminal activities. Eric arrives at the meeting looking at Skank. Top Dollar orders his men to shoot Eric, and a massive gunfight ensues. Top Dollar escapes quickly with Misa and Grange, his lieutenant. With Eric, kills everyone in the room, including Skank, who is last of all thrown out of a window by Eric, which is very poetic since Eric got thrown out of a window.
Yeah. Then I skate right here. Skate dead.
Like he was trying to play it off, like he was already like somebody else was there.
Yeah.
But I like how Top Dollar is basically just like, okay, I'm bored. And then everybody just goes on there, shoots him, and and then all of a sudden he just acts like he died. He goes, okay, now back to business.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But I like that moment though too, where Eric is just pointing to him because I'm not here for you. I don't give a shit about your business. I just want him.
And then he says, "Well, you can't have him." You know, he flips his
in that very Shawn Michaels kind of way.
Well, you can't have him. Hey, Brandy.
And I don't know why Top Dollar wanted to protect Skank. He's not like a high-level profile guy. This guy would actually rat your ass out.
I think he probably had Skank around for bait because he knew he'd probably coming after him next. No, I don't think he want to protect him. They're expendable.
He was in it for himself. Yeah, you got a point there.
Yeah, they're expendable to Top Dollar. All he cares about is his half sister and his shampoo products and his weapons.
I don't know. He was believable for. Randy says the guy wasn't believable as a gangster to her.
He's like an anime gangster.
He's basically Shawn Michaels if he was a gangster in The Crow.
Yeah, but and anime like, because like although he's pretty and he flips his hair back and forth, he will stab you through the throat and shoot you.
Mm-hmm. Even though he was going to be at Dollar Tree.
And Lord forgive you if you get his clothes dirty with your blood.
But and then I like how, like you said, I like how Skank is basically trying to say, "They're not Skank. Skank dead.
Skate, skate right here. Skate dead.
You're right there." And Eric he has that flashback of him being pushed out the window, and then Skank gets pushed out the window, just like Eric gets pushed out the window.
Mhm.
So I thought it was a very poetic justice of an eye for an eye and tooth for a tooth.
Yeah. And insert Thanos, no resurrections this time.
Game over. Flawless victory.
Dun, 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 dun.
So after Eric has finished his quest, he returns to his grave. Sarah goes to say goodbye to him and gives her Shelley's engagement ring. She is then abducted by Grange, who takes her into the nearby church where Top Dollar and Misa are waiting. Though the Crow, Eric realizes that has happened and goes to the church to rescue her. Unfortunately, Grange shoots the Crow as it flies into the church, making Eric lose his invincibility.
Mhm.
So here's the thing. At first, I was like, okay, well, since he doesn't have no beef with this crew, I thought that was instant where he loses his incredibility. But then after that, I did a little bit more
Oh.
of a deep dive into it. I'm like,
Mhm.
okay, so we did shoot the Crow. That was the only way that Mesa was able to carry the Crow. So that
Mhm.
made sense. I thought it was about the fact that he doesn't have any unfinished business anymore. I thought, okay, well, you killed all the men that you had.
Mhm.
So therefore, there's no reason for you to even go after them now, other than the fact that you have Sarah. So therefore, you lose your immortality. So
Yeah.
that's what I was thinking.
I didn't
But then
get it at first. Yeah. Yeah. She was saying in the movie too, like his power lies with the crow. And if we capture him, then he'll basically lose his power or whatever.
right,
But yeah. And then I my my favorite part was when he shot the crow. And then Top Dollar was over him. He was like, let me show you what happened. Car, bang, fuck, I'm
bam.
dead. I said, what? I don't want him
I
to tell
loved
me
it.
no bedtime stories.
Good thing he doesn't tell. You know what? You thought Major Payne was bad with telling the little engine that can, but Top Dollar just goes on ahead and just.
Bang.
At least with Major Payne, it was like a slow pace before he got to the main part
Mm-mm,
where the engine blows up.
mm-mm,
Top Dollar, he's like, screw that. I'm just gonna go
mm-mm.
right into it.
At least he gave me
But
shadow puppets. I did that a little bit.
he did. But so then after that happens, but yeah, I thought that was actually really good. Then Eric realizes what has happened and goes to the church. Eric loses it. Oh, so Mesa grabs the wounded crow, intended to take its mystical powers. Albrecht arrives, intending to pay his respects to Eric. Just after Eric is wounded, Top Dollar ties up Sarah and climbs the bell tower. As a fight ensues, with Albrecht killing Grange. Just before she is about to shoot Eric, the crow escapes Mace's grip and claws her eyes out and knocks her down the bell tower, where she hangs on the rope for dear life and she falls to her death. So, okay, so a lot happens here.
Mhm.
You basically Albrecht winds up killing Candyman, which is also Grange, and he winds up killing him. He also gets shot, gets wounded, and also Eric is also wounded.
Mhm.
They also had a plan though too. He goes, "Look, you go in." The original plan was Eric was going to go in front, and Albrecht will go on ahead and go in the back.
Mhm.
Well, go in the
Mhm.
back of Eric. He goes, "Well, that sounds like a good plan." He goes, "Wait, I thought you were immortal." He goes, "I thought I was too."
Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Yeah, I thought they killed the crow too at first.
Me too,
Yeah.
but yeah, but he was only wounded. So because if you kill the crow, you also kill Eric because Eric's soul is also attached to the crow.
Yes. I guess they knew not to kill the crow because they wanted the crow's powers,
Yeah,
maybe.
because that's plays off of on part two of City of Angels.
Oh yeah, I erased part two totally from my mind.
I wish I did. Unfortunately, that part stuck with me, and so was Thomas Jane's performance.
Oh. Okay, we're back. Yeah.
But yeah, uh, let's see. But yeah, and then let's see here. Then the part where she's clawing, where the crow claws the sister's eye out
Mm-hmm.
and everything, too, is this. Okay, so basically, what I was thinking was, since she was so obsessed with the fact that she um she was cutting people's eyes out,
Mm-hmm.
I believe that was her own sins that got the best of her, and so therefore the crow winds up basically clawing out her own eyes.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah. Or since the crow and Eric are in sync, maybe he was like claw her eyes out, like telepathically.
Exactly. That's what I was thinking. I was thinking, well, because of all the stuff that she's done, she's
Yeah.
paying for her sins.
Yeah, she did pay and she pissed the crow off because he's like, bitch, did you shoot me?
Exactly.
Yeah. And that's why
But
I'm
yeah,
nice to crows, because I don't want them to claw my eye out.
and then when Albert is wounded, Eric climbs to the roof of the church on his own. There, Top Dollar admits ultimately responsibility for what happened to Eric and Shelley. They fight, and in the end, Eric gives Top Dollar 30 hours of pain. He observed from Albert the sensitive sends Top Dollar flying off the rooftop of the church, where he feels to be and becomes impaled on the horns of a gorgile. After Eric saves Sarah from falling in the collapsing roof, Albert goes to the hospital, and Eric is reunited with Shelley at their graves.
Okay, now let me ask you a question.
Okay.
That whole scene where they were in the cathedral, it felt like Batman 89, didn't it?
Okay, yes. Now this part does feel like Batman in
Yeah.
1989 because number one, you have the girl who falls down the winds up falling down where the bell is
Yeah.
and being hung, and then she wants. Hold on.
Yeah. And then they're like fighting on the rooftop, like
Mhm.
Batman and Joker did.
Right, exactly,
Yeah.
and exactly, and then after that, I do feel like that there was like a lot of Batman vibes with that within 1989.
Yeah. Yeah, but Top Dollar had an epic death though. He he died on the horns of a gargoyle, and the blood, his blood spilled out the gargoyle's mouth. So if you want to read deep into that, you can.
Exactly.
But when you were talking about how um seeing him, it felt like a samurai movie. He did have a
Yeah,
sword on his back.
exactly.
Yeah.
And it does feel like a samurai story and stuff like that too.
Hmm.
And also too, I like how you finally now have the guy who's actually puppeteering this whole entire thing, pulling the strings and
Hmm.
telling them what to do. And because of him, he was responsible.
Hmm.
Oh,
Hmm.
let's see here. Brandy said that she liked how the guy died at the end. Liked how Top Dollar died.
Yeah, and then he got his hair all wet and stuff.
But this is the quote that I like though.
Yeah.
My daddy used to say, every man's got a devil, and you can't rest till you find it. What happened back there with you and your girlfriend? I clear that building. Hell, nothing in this town happens without my say so. So I'm sorry if I spoiled your wedding plans there, friend. But if it's any consolation to you, you have put a smile on my face.
Hmm.
And then I like how Eric goes, well, I got something for you.
Mhm.
And then that's whenever he tells him, go on ahead, tell him what he says.
Yeah, 30 hours of
The
pain.
pain.
And then he touches his eyeballs. And then he's like transmitting all the pain he got from Alberich
Yeah,
into him so he can feel all of Shelly's pain for 30 hours. And then that is so overwhelming to Top Dollar that he's like, oh, oh. And he faints. And then he falls on the gargoyle and he dies.
yep. And I definitely like how the Gorg.
Yep. Exactly how it happened. Yeah.
But yeah, I like how that scene plays out, where basically you see the blood coming out of the Gorgile's mouth.
Yeah.
Also, too, let's talk about the rooftop scene, right? Where
Okay.
basically Eric takes the antenna and and turns that into like a sword. I love that. I love that. It reminds me so much of Bruce Lee when it comes down to that. It just felt
Yeah.
natural
Yeah. And Batman.
in Batman. No,
Yeah. Very resourceful. Uses
no.
anything around him. Yeah. Yeah. We've been talking about Batman this whole time in this whole movie.
There's no we. There's no.
What are you
Well, I
talking
didn't care.
about? You're here with me, so there's a
Yeah,
we.
that's true. I was. I was. But I like that scene, and then you also too. I also like the other rooftop scene with the guitar scene too, with the guitar riff. That was
Mhm.
also one of my other favorite scenes. Top Dollar looking over the city, realizing that there's no fire being, and he goes, "Right now there should have been fire."
Yeah.
But I like that. But yeah, the scene where he winds up dying is really, I really liked how that got played out. Where basically he uses the pain that he had that was inside him in Eric and made it be where now his pain is now the cause of Top Dollar's death.
Yeah. Yeah. And then it's just like Avatar, the last Airbender, where you didn't see it, but I'm talking about the anime movie for all the people that watch anime, all the people that watch the cartoon series, where Aang was like with the Fire Lord, and he said, "I'm gonna take your bending away," and then he like touched him right here, and then he took all his power away, and then the Fire Lord was like, crippled, like he
Yeah,
didn't have no power. That's kind of how it was itself. The Fire Lord is still alive, but Top Dollar is dead.
Top Dollar's dead. Then later Sarah pays a final visit to the cemetery. Well, hold on. First, what did I also like the fact that you actually see Elbridge coming out of the church. He's laying down on the hospital bed.
Yeah,
Not the hospital bed, but you know what I'm talking about.
yeah, I do.
And his lieutenant's there. He goes, "What the hell are you doing here?" He goes, "Hey, all your guys are your guy is on the roof. Your vigilante's on the roof."
Mhm.
And so that happens, and then after that, you see Shelly and Eric reunite.
Mhm.
And I really like the fact that you have closure now. The grave just goes back to being like a closed grave. Nobody's. It looked like it hasn't been touched or anybody got out of the grave.
Mhm.
So yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. That whole thing is interesting now that I'm thinking about it. Because you said in the new Crow movie that's coming out soon, they're going to go into the backstory of just like how this crow came to be, how this whole thing came to be, like the mystical powers,
Right, between the living and the dead, which they did in the graphic novel, they showed a little bit of the dead.
which I need to read the graphic novels.
I only have the Eric Draven one. I don't have the other ones.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. But so is there anything else that you wanted to talk about as far as that scene
Um,
with Shelly and him?
no, I just thought it was really nice. It was good closure for him because he did all his work. He killed everybody. And then he's like, "Oh, I want to take a nap. I want to go back to sleep." And then, she came, like, "Hey, baby, it's time for us to go back to bed." He said, "Oh,
That's how
okay."
I feel after playing GTA and doing all my side quests.
Yeah, he's like, "Whew, I'm tired. All that killing. Whew, good grief. I ain't even eat nothing."
But later, Sarah pays a final visit to the cemetery, and the crow, perched on Eric's headstone, gives her Shelley's engagement ring, dropping it in our in her open hand before soaring over the city and into the night. And then that's when we get the quote: "If the people who we love are stolen from us,
Mm-hmm.
the way to have them live is to never stop loving them. Buildings burn, people die, but real love is forever." And then we hear it can't rain all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I really have to say, I really enjoyed this movie. Still, this
Yeah.
movie is no wonder why this is still a cult following. I see people now catching on to The Crow now and just loving it and falling in love with it the same way we did. And everybody, there's one smart ass person in the comments and everything that I've seen in the trailer goes, the only reason why it was popular is because of the fact that, not in the comments over here, but
I was like, who?
No.
Who did that rank up?
No.
Sorry.
I was looking at comments like in the remake and stuff like that of the trailer. It's like the only reason why this is popular is because Brandon Lee died. I'm like, no, you're missing the whole point. No. And we actually covered the whole point of why we love this film. But yeah.
That person.
But all in all, it's still a great film. I still love it. I pre-ordered the Steelbook.
What? That's a Steelbook?
Yeah, there's a Steelbook coming out for the 30th anniversary of The Crow.
It's been 30 years? Dang.
Yep. And believe it or not, the weird thing is he died on the 31st of March.
What? Oh
yeah.
My God.
So that's kind of weird that we timed it in this kind of way, but we didn't even plan it.
Yeah. So what are we gonna do for the 31st of March? Like, do we like listen to The Cure and wear all black and stuff?
That sounds like a good idea. You know what though? I have a friend of mine that's going to be giving me a bunch of Crow merch coming in and everything. So yeah.
What? Dang. Yeah, I saw the little Crow figures. I wanted one in my office.
Get this, they actually have a hot toy now that's $100 now. It used to be like, it used to be $500. Now it went down to like $100.
Jeez, no, my goodness. I have to wait till he get to be $10.
But anyways, I know that you have some trivia for us. Is there anything
yes, I have trivia assignments. Okay, let's see. John and everyone, did you know in the early version of the script for the film, the character Sherry from the comic book was initially 11-year-old girl named Ellie, but in the film, it's Sherry, and she's 13. And her name, Sarah.
Yep. They changed it up.
Yeah, that was a minor change. In the early version of the script, the relationship between Sarah and Eric was closer to the way it is in the comic. Interesting. Okay. And the bird used in the film are actually ravens, not crows. Oh my God, they should have called this the Raven.
No, then after that you get mixed up with Edgar Allan Poe.
I can't believe how deceived we were.
We were very deceived.
What's the Raven's name? Did they say what the Raven's name was?
No.
Okay.
But
we'll call him George.
Okay, George.
You want me to do one more?
Yeah, do one more.
Okay. Okay, so originally Sarah and Eric were supposed to sit in front of a fireplace in Eric and Shelly's old apartment. Did I say Shelly or Shelly? Whatever. Shelly's old apartment. Eric was supposed to explain to Sarah why he couldn't be friends with her anymore. In the actual film, Sarah wanders through the apartment by herself while talking to Eric. Sarah's about to leave when Eric doesn't respond, and she stops. And that's when Eric appears to her in the window and tells her he cares about her.
Okay. Yeah. So, Eric and Shelly's death scene. Originally, Eric was supposed to return home after grocery shopping and walk into the apartment completely unsuspectingly when he gets shot by Fun Boy. In the actual film, Eric returns home sensing something is amiss, and he is stabbed by Tintin when he throws a knife at Eric as soon as Eric walks through the door. But because of what happened and everything, they had to cut that because of him passing away on the set of that scene.
Yeah, because in the movie, he opens the door and then Tintin throws a knife at him.
Yep.
Oh. So it was that scene, the beginning scene. Well, they shoot movies out of order.
They do, and then they edit and everything in post, and then they put it up.
Yeah, because he shot most of all his scenes, maybe except 3 or 4. Maybe
Right.
he had that much left. Yeah.
But another interesting fun fact is James O'Barr, the guy who made the Crow comic,
Mhm.
used that as a coping mechanism to get over the grief of his loss of his wife, of his girlfriend, because a drunk driver hit her.
Mm. Yeah. Oh goodness.
So
That was sad. Yeah. Does he still make those series?
he does have a couple of series out and everything and stuff like that
Yeah.
too, of the Crow comics.
Mhm.
But yeah,
Okay. I may check them out.
okay. Well, guys, that's gonna be it as far as our review for The Crow. This is our deep review of The Crow. I hope that you guys enjoyed this. We enjoyed talking about it. A matter of fact, I might actually do an unboxing video of the 4K whenever I get it in and stuff like that, so that way you guys can see that, because I did that with John Wick Chapter 4 thing that I got from Walmart, and so I might actually do that with this too. Don't forget to boop that like button. Don't forget to boop that subscribe button. And always until next time, guys, have a great and safe night. Thank you again, Tamika, for joining me.
Come on.
Damn, I'm dead. Okay.
Ah, top dollar make you holler.
Holla, holla. Go to Dollar General. Okay. I'm going to go.
Ah,
Later, guys.
boom.